Hello and welcome to Halo Forge Epidemic. This is Oakley HiDef and I'm here with Psychoduck, and we're going to be doing a quick, recap on what we saw from the first news for Halo 4 Forge. So we're going to be showing you guys the video of what was released so far, and we're just going to be giving you guys our first impressions. So Psycho, what did you think of this video?
I thought it was interesting. There was a lot of new stuff. There wasn't anything groundbreaking, but I think overall there's some pretty cool additions, like dynamic lighting and all that, which sound pretty interesting.
Yeah, there's a good amount of different things they add in here. It's relatively small in terms of additions. Like Psycho said, it's nothing groundbreaking. Um, and so what you can see right here is the map itself. It's smaller than Forge World in this case, but what they've announced actually is there's going to be three different Forge World-esque maps, and presumably each of them is going to have their own sort of different theme, the way it plays, the different atmosphere. So this one's a little more arid. It's got cliffs. It's got some grass. So maybe we might see another one with desert and snow. So look for variety. This is just going to be one of three again. And what you're seeing right now, as they're saying in the video, is it's not the final version.
Yeah, so I think it's interesting, because this map looks kind of similar to Forge World as far as the environment. So I think that's kind of an odd choice for what they'd want to show, but I'm hoping that with the other two environments, there'll be some variety as far as like breaking up how gray a lot of maps on Forge World look. They're just all the same green, green grass, blue sky, gray pieces. So hopefully that'll uh, change a little bit.
Yeah, and over here, what's nice to see is some destructible objects. So you have pallets, crates making a return, which is going to be really nice. That's something that was missed in Forge World, and that's what kind of destroyed a lot of potential for cool mini games, destructible stuff for infection. So I'm glad we're seeing this make an appearance.
Yeah, in general, all the objects just kind of look, you'll see later on with the dynamic lighting, everything just looks more natural. So, like, this pile of debris looks a lot more real than it would have in Halo 3 or Reach. So, I think that's kind of interesting. And hopefully, with that, you can kind of make maps that look more like real maps and less like things that were made in Forge.
hmm And here you can see him scrolling through, the different objects. And a couple things to note is when you highlight an object, it's going to clearly tell you you have this one selected. So no longer will you, be left guessing as to which object you're selecting. So that's something that's cool. Also, what you saw is when he was going through the menus, you saw the dollar system. You'll see budget on this map, so they are going to be using some sort of version of that. At the same time, they have said that what you're seeing right now is kind of carried over from Reach, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the final version. They're just using this HUD and this layout to be able to show off Forge, but it's maybe not the final version.
Yeah, it's kind of placeholder right now. I think it's a bit interesting that these objects they're showing are already objects available in Reach, but it looks like the textures have been kind of streamlined a little bit, so that might help objects blend into each other and hopefully also reduce how like the strain on the engine brought about by them. So hopefully we'll have to worry about frame rate less in Halo 4.
Yeah, and something they're showing on the screen right now is if you select an object, you have several options you can do to it. One of them is lock. So you'll see on the left, there's a D-pad option. So one is go up is player mode, down is duplicate, and left is lock. So if you lock it, it's going to turn red, and it can't move. So that's going to be kind of useful in some situations. And here, duplicate is on the bottom. So you can easily duplicate an object, which is really cool. And then on the right of the D-pad, you can see reset orientation. And something they'll be showing right here is it's a little hard to line up pieces. That's one of the problems you had in Reach. So what he's going to show right here is you can turn on magnetism, which is really cool. So Psycho, if you want to talk a bit about that.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because like coordinate snap was cool in Reach, but I think it still was kind of always off a little bit. So with magnetism, hopefully it will allow you to just make things look a lot more streamlined, and also like it just feels a lot more natural. So you'll see he's building this bridge, and it's when he's finished with it and goes into player mode, it's gonna look like one piece. So I think that's pretty cool. And hopefully also you won't have to worry about objects shifting. So like Coliseum walls and brace larges would kind of shift a lot in Reach and just move a tiny bit, and then it would get frustrating because they wouldn't be lined up properly. So hopefully that'll be fixed by magnetism as well.
Yeah, and right there is the new man cannon. So I think that it looks cooler than what you had in Reach. Reach was useful, but this one just looks much more detailed. I think it's something you could use for aesthetics. That looks like something that would be put, for propulsion. If you want to make an aesthetic pelican, that would look badass.
Oh yeah.
And
Uh, oh, sorry.
no, I was just gonna say what they're gonna be showing briefly in the video, so keep an eye out for that. Is the dynamic lighting on the inside? So he's showing you right now that in the inside of structure in Forge mode itself, it's not gonna do dynamic lighting just to save you on processing and all that. But when you go into player mode, what you'll see is the shadows and all that will come into effect. So they're gonna be showing you guys briefly how that works. And so what you'll see is when you go into person mode, it's kind of like Far Cry 3. It has to load up and render everything real quick like that, and there you can see the shadows.
Yeah, that looks a lot better than it does in Forge mode, and it looks a lot better than it did in Halo Reach. So I wonder if, since this is also Forerunner centered, I wonder if the other environments will have different Forge pieces, or if they'll be kind of the same. Because that would be interesting to see a more like human environment, or even
Hmm.
a Covenant environment.
Yeah,
Um, with the lighting too, you could just do so much to make it look natural.
Yeah, I would be surprised with the fact that they've announced that there's three different maps that they would make the same Forge object palette for each. I think they're going to really make them stick out. So like if there's a snow map, they're not just going to make it snow textured. I think they might throw in, some new objects altogether with that. So maybe, I don't know, trenches or snowdrift piles, embankments. I don't know. We'll see. This is just hopefully the tip of the iceberg in terms of what they're revealing.
Yeah, this is a lot of speculation on our part as well. So, there's a lot of things we hope to see, and I think in general it's pretty cool. He's going to show player trait zones here in a second, I believe, which is something that could come in handy a lot with mini games and in other areas as well. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, Oakley.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of cool stuff you'll be able to do with that. I think first and foremost, what you're going to see is people making just space stuff where, you go outside of an area and there's low gravity. But we'll talk about the different potentials for that. Something I wanted to note also with the shadows while they're still kind of showing that is I'm wondering if you make an all indoors map, if there's going to be shadows everywhere and if that's going to cause an issue for lighting. What that sort of brings up next is, are they going to bring back lights to Halo 4? Because we had them in Reach, but they really didn't work that well. You can only put a limited number, and there wasn't dynamic lighting. So if they're bringing in dynamic lighting here, what do you think, they might do for that? Like, will the lights actually work? You think it'll be dynamic and all that?
I would imagine with dynamic lighting, I just my only worry is that the strain on the engine. I just feel like that could get kind of ugly as far as performance with frame rate and stuff. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I'm sure they realize that lots of people make like maps that are based indoors, so I don't think they're gonna just, you know, I don't think indoor maps are just suddenly gonna be like pitch black. I'm sure
Yeah.
I would hope they thought of that, and did something to counter that potential issue.
And here are the player trait zones that you were talking about. So basically what that is you put something kind of like a hill down, and then what you can see here is he's editing the traits. So that's going to be kind of cool. So you can edit speed, height, gravity, vehicle use, damage, all sorts of stuff when you're inside this. And I didn't really get a look at how many there are in the game, but it seems like you'll be able to put down a lot, and that's going to allow a lot of cool things. So what you saw earlier is he tried to make the jump before, didn't make it, fell into the kill balls. But now with the traits, he's able to make it across.
Yeah, and I think he's about to do that again. There's all kinds of different options in there, so you can do like gravity. Uh, I think he's about to adjust fall damage in a minute, which is cool. I wonder if there will be any kind of like those were all options that were in reach, except for fall damage, I suppose. But which were it could only be edited on a game type scale.
Hmm.
So it'll be interesting to edit these on a like scale of small areas within a map, but it'll also be interesting to see if there's some more new options with those.
Yeah, yeah, it's certainly something that they could implement. They're adding a lot more stuff, so maybe, yeah, we'll see. I'm sure there'll be new little things, and like they've said in this video, is this is just early look at some stuff in Forge. Obviously, you see that river back there. They've passed over it multiple times, so I wouldn't expect anything like terrain editing really to come out of Halo 4. I mean, I'd be surprised if they do. What you might see is the addition of putting in a hill that works well, not just a rock, but like a full hill and like big wall C stacks, stuff to make substantial changes that look natural, like big pieces, but I wouldn't expect to do actual any terrain editing. So that's something that I was maybe hoping for in this tutorial, this first look, but we're not really seeing any of that at the moment.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to be able to edit trees as well. But it
That,
looks like they're doing a push to make everything look more natural, whatever you're editing. So I think that's interesting.
yeah, I think I would put money on maybe there being trees just because they did that in not Timberland, but
Ridgeline.
Ridgeline. Yeah, because they put that there, and I think it was a little clunky the way they put it there. The trees, when you put them down, there's a limited number. They all look the same, and they're all sort of jet green. I think they'll change that up a bit, come Halo 4. I think with the new lighting and all the graphics, I think they'll definitely try and implement trees and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, so overall though, I think that's pretty cool to see some of these changes. I know it's nothing groundbreaking, but it's still very interesting, I think.
Yeah, so guys, we hope you guys enjoyed this first look. We'll get back to you on more, more updates on Forge. THFE is a forging community. We're all the members of THFE are forgers, so we're all anticipating, lots of cool stuff, and we'll get back to you on what we see, in terms of potential. And once Halo 4 comes out, we'll make tons of videos. So guys, thanks for checking us out. Thanks for viewing the video. Make sure to pass it around, make everyone, see it. We're really hyped about Forge. We hope you guys are too. So make sure to like the video and subscribe. So thanks, guys. This has been Oakley HiDef and Psychoduck with the Halo Forge Epidemic, and we're signing out. Thank you.